Trade folks, 711, the deuce and the nine. This is another Hoover Hay to the culture enthusiasts, the people, and the collective. I have a congregation of Hoovers, man. One more time. We're gonna sit down and chop it up with y'all, man. So to my left, I have
PT.
Hola Ray.
TS.
All right, man. So we're gonna chop it up, man. About a little of this, a little of that, but mostly history, man. You know, we're gonna go into the origins as far as PT is concerned. To let PT let you guys know how he come to the scene, man. You know, just amongst other things, you know. But to start out, man, we'll start with PT. So tell us about it, man.
Exactly what you want me to speak on.
Man, I want you to speak on how it was when you came around, man. How did that happen?
Look,
how did you come to Hoover?
Okay, this I was introduced to the Hoovers in 1973. I had just got out of juvenile hall. I think March of '73. I was going to Bethune. We was East Side Castle Crips, and one night it was a party on 69th and Broadway at the Yvette Glover House, and the song at that time was the JB's "Doing It to Death." Me, TS, and somebody else. We was at the party, and they said the Brims was over there on Gage for to come over there and shoot the party up. So TS said, man, come on. Me, TS, and somebody, I forgot the other cat that was with us. We ran all the way down Broadway, went up under the freeway. I think we was on probably 75th or something. And it was like 8, 9 dudes in the alley. They stopped us. But they knew TS, though. They didn't know me. They was like, Tony, who was this dude? I was like, my name Pretty Tony, man. I'm from East Side Castle Crip. I'm up under Martin Brandon and Terry Simmons. I'll say TS, I'll say Tony, tell them, you don't tell them. Because they said that we the Hoovers and we had just came out. You might have been a Brim trying to infiltrate the set or something like that. That was my introduction to the Hoovers.
To the set,
That was my introduction.
What did TS say when you say Tony, tell him? What
TS was like, yeah, he from the East Side. He from the East Side.
You
we was Castle Crips.
They get that?
Yeah. But yeah, man, but you know, we came off the East Side. I came off the East Side. I lived on 77 San Pedro. I didn't live in the set. I lived right across from Fremont.
PT. Let the people know where you from now. Though.
Yeah, but yeah.
I'm from A-Trey Hoover.
Let them know.
Okay.
Matter of fact, I'm from A-Trey Hoover, but I'm from 4 Trey to the one way.
Yeah. Well, I imagine that was coming. Yeah,
via A-Trey Hoover, but I'm from 4 Trey to the one way.
Okay.
And another thing I want to say too, man, like most of us that's OGs, we ain't never stopped being Crips. We always been Hoover Street Crips.
Okay.
You know, we understand the demographics and the politics of the gang culture in 2023. We understand that. We understand how it evolved. We've been around long. We've been cripping over 50 years. So it's not like we don't know this part. We've seen the evolution of the Crips, not just only the Hoovers, but the Crips, period. We've seen the evolution and the so-called blood gangs. Because when we first started gang banging, there wasn't no blood gangs. Those were all individual entities. And we used to call them OBs back then, off brands, because everybody wasn't a Crip. We considered them OBs, off brands.
Okay.
You know.
Okay. Don't stop there. Wait a minute. You gonna pull over, you getting some gas? Come on.
You know.
Okay, listen.
What you want me to speak on, man?
No, hold on. I'm gonna give you something, man. So yeah, that occurred, man. That's how you come to the set.
That's how I came. I was introduced through Tony Stacy. Exactly.
Oh, with TS and shit. So how did it end up? You was with TS. TS, y'all Castle Heat, 7-4.
Yeah.
How'd you end up at A-Trey Hoover?
I think I just gravitated to the A-Trays more than I did the 7-4s.
Okay. I mean, who was it over there that you must have been tight? Who was you tight with?
Big Bam.
Okay.
Sugar Bear.
Okay.
Them big homies.
Yeah.
But it's basically Big Bam and Sugar Bear. Matter of fact, I take that back. It was mostly Sugar Bear. Sugar Bear was the one that brought me in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? As far as the eight trades. See, what a lot of people don't know, Sugar Bear came off the East Side too.
Exactly.
And then for one brief moment in history, it was some East Side A-Trey Hoovers that Sugar Bear tried to start. And what a lot of people don't know also, it used to be A-Trey Hoovers on Main Street on 830 Main. The homie Hoover J Candy. They had a certain spot upstairs, right there on 83rd in Main. Right. And A-Trey Hoovers was right there. This was back in the days, 84, 85, 86, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Hey, excuse me. You know what's ironic, what's a trip is when we talk about the East Side castles and whatnot, right? The East Side Pier. What's a trip? It's in my book. I'm always keep loan to my book. But anyway, about my last 2 years before I got out of the pen, Joe wrote me a letter.
Mhm.
And it was hard. It was a hard touching letter. I wasn't even expecting him to write that.
Yeah.
But people don't realize, I'm talking about Hoovers, don't realize that, like you came from the castle, you end up gravitating towards the 8 trades. When Bulldog, Big Bam, and Sugar Bear all left the east side, they all went to the trade.
To the trade, yeah.
And I went to the 4.
Yeah.
And I left the east side, right? That's just a trip how all them went to the trade like that.
And you went to the 4.
But Joe wrote me a letter about that, and he said when we traveled from and crossed over from the east side and came to Hoover, Joe in his letter said that's when a lot of power came to Hoover.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got the letter. It's gonna be printed in my book. Yeah,
A lot of power from the east side.
Yeah.
A lot of us came from, we was East Side Crips on. We was East Side baby Crips. And then later on, we put in 73, a lot of sets started putting names on their little blocks and stuff.
Okay.
Now the place after we went to Bethune. When we used to get off from school from Bethune, we used to go on 84th and Avalon to Martin Brandon's mama house. That was our hangar. That was our meeting spot.
Who was that?
Martin Brandon was like the second shot caller of the East Side Castle Crips, or the clique that we ran around with, me and TS and Philip Baines. We ran with them cats. We used to meet right there, or we meet at Fremont. You know what I'm saying? We meet every day after school. We was going to Bethune then. Friday nights we go to Bethune Park. We meet up, go to Bethune Park to the record house.
yeah.
I remember matter of fact, one time I was coming from downtown. I was coming to downtown LA by myself. This is in 73. And I got off the bus on Central and Florence by the old post office, by the old Goodyear plant. And I looked out the bus, right, and I seen TS and Philip Baines. The TS was riding the bike and Philip was on the handlebars. I was like, man, where y'all going? He said, we're going to Bethune Park, to the record house. So we went up there. We went to the record house. But yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah.
That's history
But-
for your ass.
But back in them days, man, hey, it's a whole different ball game to what it is right now today.
Yeah. You ain't even gotta.
Because back in them days, it was love, loyalty, respect, and honesty, man.
And nowadays,
Nowadays we live in an era of falsehood. We live in the modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. Fags, busters, hooks, and snitches put on pedestals and venerated. Cats like us, they want us out the way.
So what happened to where Castle turned? What was that?
This is what happened with the Castle Crips, homie. What happened with the Castle Crips? Martin Brandon and Terry Simmons and Lil Eddie and Tommy Thompson, they figured they wanted to be drug dealers and players. That's how that set fizzed out. Some of them dudes turned swine, but the rest of us turn Hoover. Okay. But that's how the Castle fizzled out. Because them dudes wanted to be drug dealers and players and pimps and all that. So then
during the era of the East Side Castle Crips, it was the era, man, where, like I mentioned on KMAC video, certain on Monday, this person claimed crip, then Tuesday he's a swine. They couldn't make up their mind because we all grew up together.
Yep.
Most of all the East Side Crips and swines, we grew up together, went to elementary school together. Individuals couldn't make up their mind what they want to be, So and like Pretty Tony was just saying, the certain individuals want to start being hustlers and players and stuff. But then you had the friction with individuals couldn't make up their mind what they want to be. But when the Castle did break up, I had already left. It was about to break. You know what I'm saying? Because like I mentioned on KMAC video, I came to the Castle, man, that Monday. Prior to that Saturday, I went to a house party on 80th and Main. I got caught up in the swine party, number swine. And man, shit. And I knew most all of them. They knew me.
Yeah.
You made it out?
Man, I don't know how I made it. I made it, man. It's a long story. I made up out of there. But anyway, all the swines knew I was in there. They was singing the song, "We Got a Crip in the Party."
Whoa.
All of them, they in tune. We got a crip in the party. They talking about me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And I'm watching
What song
them.
is that? What song
No,
is
but
that?
that's just a song
Or
they
just something they made
ad-libbed
up
on their own.
Okay.
So I know they talking about me. I said, "Oh man, these motherfuckers finna kill me up in here." So I'm looking at all the windows around the living room. I'm gonna get up.
Which
out
one
of
you
here.
jumping out of?
Oh man, but it's a long story what happened, man. But I made it up out the front door, man, with two females with me. Went to Crenshaw High School. I was going to Crenshaw High School at the time, and these two females at the party, I got between them. They like smothered me, and we went through the door. But the Swans realized, oh man, it was on the pop, man. Yeah. But anyway, I went back to the council that Monday after the party. I see some of the same Swan fools was up in there try to kill me. Was out to kill me that night. You know, I'm telling all these council, man, I throwing, beer bottles, English bottles, kicking them in their face, spitting on them, and stomping them and all kind of shit. So all the Eastside Council was like saying that I'm tripping, I'm hallucinating. Nigga, you crazy. These fools the enemy. But anyway, that's what made me lead Eastside Council. That's when Hoover first came out. Yeah, it was betrayal.
Yeah.
So when that shit happened, Hoover just came out.
Yep.
And I bounced, I switched sides over to Hoover. If I would have never went to Hoover, if that incident didn't happen, I'd probably be a 7'6" East Coast crip or a 6'9". More than likely been a 6'9" East Coast crip. Because I like I told people, I come up with all the 6 deuces, 6'8", the 6'9s, the 7'6", and we all went to Bethune Fremont together.
Bethune Fremont together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Hola, when did you meet PT? How far back y'all go?
We go back.
Way back.
I
barely remember that.
But look, there's a lot of things. Look, let me clarify something in regards to us. See, people got to understand, like me, I'm 65 years old. I started going to jail doing time when I was like 13, 14. So a lot of times when we was going, because see, we went to jail early. Juvenile hall, camp, YA, and the penitentiary. I went to the pen in 77, 78 when I was 18. So a lot of us would be in the pen and other cats would be on the streets. Then once you get out on the streets, the other cats, Bubbles in pen, Hola Ray in the pen, whoop. Because when Cousin caught their case, I was in San Quentin. I had been in San Quentin for probably about 2 or 3 years when they caught their case.
Okay.
When they caught their case,
you was already there.
I was in already pen. I was
Was that when you were with Joe?
That's when I was with Joe. But I went to Tracy and Solidad when I first went to the pen, and I paroled in October of 79. And I only stayed out probably like 48 days and caught 2 robberies. Because, nigga was with the business back then. Nigga didn't give a fuck about the white man's laws and none of that shit, man. They was on and cracking. That's how we did. So
I can relate.
I went back to the pen, right? I went back to Solidad because I paroled from Solidad from the hole. And when I went back to Solidad in the hole in 79, Big James Miller from Harlem, when I went back, we was in MCU. MCU was across from the SHU. From O Wing. It was a management control unit where you have a little less restrictions. You're not like straight up in security housing unit. And we went to the yard one day and Big James Miller told me, he said, man, Pretty Tony, man, we need to start some rules and regulations for the Crips here inside of that. I was like, I'm with it. So he told everybody that was on the yard, look, man, y'all go in and come back out and write something down, the rules and regulations. And we came back and we did that.
No, wait, okay. What year was it?
1979. And so matter of fact, I take that back. It was the beginning of 1980 because I stayed in a guidance center until I got transferred back to the pen in the beginning of 1980. So we did that, right? But in the meantime, in between time, something was finna happen and a kite get dropped on me. And I go to ASSEG, the North Block, the North facility, Whitney Hall. I stayed over there 6 months and they sent me to San Quentin. I get to San Quentin in October 1980, North Block. I get to North Block when I didn't even know Hoover Joe was even there, or none of the other Crips. I didn't know because I'm just getting to Quentin. Yeah. So I get to Quentin. I come out on the yard, North Block yard. We like I said, it was a management control unit, MCU. It wasn't a hole. It was a hole, but we had less restrictions. Right. And I get to the yard. I see Hoover Joe and Light Bub and a few other cats, right? Hoover Joe put me to the side. He said, man, Pretty Tony, check this out. He said, man, look, this is what we're going to do with the Crips here in San Quentin. And that's when the shit started. Now, remember when you interviewed?
What shit you talking about?
You remember when Joe told you, well, I'm going to let PT tell that story?
Yeah. Okay.
What happened in North Block in 1980, we got into it with some cats on the yard. And we got shot up. They locked everything down. what they did eventually, they took all the Crips off the main line and they put them all in North Block. And I told Joe, look, man, look, when we come to the yard, man, we gotta get these dudes an ultimatum, man. We cripping and we trying to survive as an entity in the prison system. We not BGF, we not nothing. We Crips. And you know, this was at the beginning of the Crip wars out there on the street with the A-Trade gangsters in the rolling 60s.
Right.
And you know, things was real, you know what I'm saying? But it blocked them because the police in San Quentin, they figured when we lock all these Crips up, they fighting each other on the streets. So we put them all together and think it'll be some chaos and madness. But it wasn't that. They when we first all came to the yard, about 60, 70 Crips came to the yard, and Hoover Joe said, man, this is what the business is, this is what we gonna do. Now, the police at that time, they wanted to move us to B section. Half of B section was ass sig, and the other half was PC. And Hoover Joe said, nah, we not going over there. Because the BGF was really running things at that time. They was like, nah, put the Crips over there. And we like, nah, we not going over there.
And Joe was speaking for the Crip.
Joe was speaking for the Crip Corps. And Joe told the police, we not going over there. So they put us in C section. We had the whole 5th tier in the back bar of the 4th tier. And that's the first time. This was in February. This was in February of 1981. This is before 4800 came out. This is the first time in the history of any jail in the state of California where the Crips had their own yard and their own tiers. This was in February 1981. So they moved us over there. And then later on in the game, you know, we did this, that, and the third, and that's how everything came together. But let me speak on, man, what people be speaking on the CCO, the Consolidated Crip Organization, because people be speaking on something that they don't know what they're talking about. You hearing it from the dragon's mouth. Now, we started that in San Quentin.
Who is we?
When I talk about we, me, Hoover Joe, Omar Gates, Light Bub from Compton. Us 4. Herbert Gates, he was out the 50s, 5'6" syndicate. He did all the paperwork. He was like the secretary. He wrote up the bylaws, the code of ethics, and the Constitution. This is in February 1981. We wasn't called the CCO. That name came later on in the game. We was just a San Quentin machine, San Quentin Crip machine. And our Constitution was called the COC, the Constitution of Crips. This is in 1981. Now, Hoover Joe went home in later that year, May of 81. He passed the torch to me. And everything was beautiful. We was all together. We had quiet periods. We taught people how to speak Swahili. We had people
Hold
read.
on, let me stop you. Because you naming stuff that we might understand. But you know, we got people listening. You know, my grandson over there, he probably know what the fuck you talking about a quiet period.
Yeah, a quiet period was like the days if we didn't go to the yard in the hole, because we only went to the yard every 3 days. So our program on the yard would be our program inside when we didn't go out. And quiet periods would be a time after breakfast when everybody ate and you had quiet period with capsules in there in their cells studying Swahili, reading various literature like revolutionary suicide and you know, George Jackson, Blood My Eyes, and Soledad Brothers, and, you know, Destruction of Black Civilization, all those type of books. Because we was trying to infuse education and intelligence and understanding amongst ourselves. Because at that time, y'all got to realize at that time we was young dudes. We was like 20, 21, 22 years old. But we was on that educational and intellectual knowledge tip like that. You know what I'm saying? So matter of fact, you had cats that was illiterate, couldn't even read or write. And we taught them how to read and write up in them stoops. That's what the quiet period was. When we didn't go to the yard. After quiet period was over with, we bust down on the machine. Everybody was in their cell. You had maybe 3 dudes out on the top tier, on the 5th tier, and you had 2 dudes out on the bottom tier, on 4th tier. And we bust down.
What's bust down?
We did our exercises. Machine was in motion. If you catch him on his knees, never hear him beg or plead. If he start to beg and cry, let us see the way he die. Uhuru, Sasa, Uhuru, Sasa, Crip. That was our cadence. George Jackson, he was right. Cutting throats day and night. Nat Turner, he was right. Cutting throats day and night. If you catch him in the fog, never let him kill that dog. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. But that's where everything started, man. And the way they got the name CCO And I had got out the pen in 83, and I came back on a violation, the East Block in San Quentin. They had brought all the Blue Magic car, which was ran by Big James Miller and Big Frog from A-Trade Gangsters. They brought all them from Soledad and put them in San Quentin. And I went back on a violation. We was on 5th tier East Block, Bayside. And I told Light Bub from Compton, Suma, Double R from the West Side, which is Tabari, Motor Mouth from the 60s, Oscari, which I gave him that name. I'm the one who gave Oscari that name. That was my dude. Floyd H. Nelson. That was my dude. I gave him that name, Motor Mouse. And matter of fact, I cut his finger and let it bleed on a blue rag and read the Constitution to him. And Big James Miller and Big Frog from A-Trade Gangsters, them 5 dudes, I said, man, y'all go in the cell and come up with a name for this. When they came out the cell, they came to my cell and said, man, the name we came up with is Consolidated Crip Organization, because you had two different entities. You had the San Quentin Crips and the Soledad Blue Magic Crips meet up in San Quentin, and that's how they got the name Consolidated Crip Organization. That was in 1984. Now, later on in the game, I don't want to mention no names because I don't want to put nobody out there like that, but motherfuckers dropped the ball, y'all. They dropped the ball. My boy Lewis Montgomery, slow drag from Great Street Watch, Kajua, which was a straight stand up and down soldier all day long, got killed in Quentin. You know, some shit with the Mahindes. And that's when the ball got dropped. And at that time, we was like, damn. So most of us, the Hoovers, we was like, man, we backing up out this shit. We cool. This Hoover. We ain't
before you get to that, let me ask you a question. In terms of the CCO.
Yeah.
What was good about it?
What was good
other than the education? What else? You know, what else?
Not only that, because we putting out positive, constructive messages. We wasn't telling people, hey man, sell dope, rob motherfuckers, go kill motherfuckers. We was on some revolutionary black nationalism type shit, bro.
Okay.
You know, doing something for our community. Because we already know the havoc and shit that we wrecked on the community that we live in. That's what I'm saying? So we was up there trying to teach cats, man, how to do stuff in a positive, constructive manner and move in a certain direction, and have understanding, man, about the ways of the world. That's what we was trying to feed. Just like me right now today. Anytime I go to the set and I holler at my young homies, I don't tell no nigga get a gun, go kill somebody. I don't tell nobody go sell some dope. I tell these dudes, look here, man. Move in a positive, constructive manner, man. Move in a certain direction. Get your understanding from the righteous and worthy. And don't make the mistakes that I made and go through the shit that I went through. You know, because we all understand what these cats is going through, especially with the young black men in America. We already know what we up against. You dig? You dealing with the powers to be. You know what I'm saying? It's all about mind control.
And let me say
I want to get you jump in
regards to the CCO. Yeah, I was there from the start when CCO started.
What happened with the car?
San Quentin. It's such a long story, but I'm a jump around here and there. But it's such a long story. I was there when CCO. Everything what PT just said is truth, you know. And it basically come from, you know, it was the San Quentin Crips. They was under the Constitution. All the Crips, most of all the Crips in San Quentin prison was called San Quentin Crips. They was under the Constitution then. But they robbery was BJ, James Miller from Harlem. The Harlem's godfather, James Miller, was pushing the Blue Magic. He started in the Blue Magic Crips. He started in Soledad. So when I get to Quentin in 83, after I got wrongly convicted and got to Quentin in 83, this is when I first met James Miller. I never met James Miller during our Crip career in the 70s because he's 5 years older than me.
Okay.
And we never ran each other until I got to San Quentin after all them years. But anyway, me and him became extremely tight off the top. But I stepped into, right off the bus, I stepped into a war. The San Quentin Crips is fighting the Blue Magic Crips. James Miller is the commander of the Blue Magic. So, you know, I'm throwing in my bits and pieces, but man, we got to bring some peace, man. We Crips on both sides. I ain't no motherfucking Crip killer. We got to bring this shit together. So people start talking. We start congregating to bring together the cause of to cease this war going on between the Blue Magic Crips and San Quentin Crips. Anyway, like PT said, they end up coming with the name CCO, Consolidated Crip Organization. So I was there and stuff. So if people actually read Monster Cody's book, who already read it, when Monster Cody talk about me in that book, he in a subtle way basically saying that me and the Hoovers broke up CCO. That's what we accused of today.
that's wrong.
And this is why I need you
it's
to
not
come
wrong.
in.
It's
And that's
not
wrong.
Let him
but it's
say-
not
let-
wrong.
yeah.
It's not wrong.
Speak on
If they want to say that, cool. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Because the reason they say that is because jump the story up. Big Hoover, rest in peace, from 74 Hoover. Him and his cousin Booger Bear, they
Mhm.
got moved on by the CCOs.
because
They got moved on for bringing unsanctioned knives to the yard, not getting CCO permission to bring knives to the yard. They strapped up with knives, like
Right.
everybody strapped up. But since they didn't get CCO permission to bring knives to the yard, BJ was on the main line. James Miller was on the main line, calling the shots on the CCO. I'm in a hole. I'm doing indeterminate
indeterminate. Yeah.
shoe program, a whole program. I mean, I ain't never getting out the hole.
Mhm.
But James Miller's on the main line. He running all the CCO. So James Miller called the move on Hoover and Booger Bear from the foe.
Was Huron CCO?
No,
He wasn't.
that's the
no,
reason.
He wasn't.
This was
But he was with the business though.
but no, he wasn't no CCO. No, his cousin was. That's why
Right.
all the Hoovers was mad. Why CCO moved on Hoover and his cousin? They carry a knife anywhere they want to go. We
Mhm.
got to get permission from y'all. They ain't CCO. They ain't under no constitution. And I'm upset. So anyway, the bottom line, they moved on. They stabbed up Hoover and his cousin, So all the Hoovers is getting at me now because the Hoovers that's not CCOs on a different yard than me. I'm on the yard with a CCO, so I'm a CCO.
Mhm.
I'm still a Hoover, but I'm a CCO.
Right.
I'm on the paperwork now. And so when I come out yard, all the Hoovers and other Crips that's not CCOs separated from us. So all the Hoovers is mad and asking me what I'm gonna do about the situation, what happened to Hoover and Booger Bear cousin get stabbed, unjustly like that. I said, don't worry about it. I'm mad too. Anyway, I went through protocols, talked to all the chain of command and all this shit with CCO. They shoot me to the left and the right like I'm a buster or something. I said, okay. I said, I'm telling y'all, man, you got to get this shit rectified. The shit was wrong. They wasn't CCO. Why y'all moved on? Anyway, they kept shooting me to the side. So anyway, I called a Hoover meeting, man, with the ones who were CCOs with me, and we exchanged communication. And I asked them, what y'all feel about that shit? None of the Hoovers didn't agree with this shit. I didn't agree with it.
Right.
So the CCO wasn't giving me no answers, no solid facts on the situation. So I asked the Hoovers, I said, what y'all want to do about it? Whatever you want to do. I said, okay, we're gonna move on these niggas. And that's what we did. We end up moving on BJ, James Miller for calling it, moved on Snake from 107, who was one of the ones who stabbed one of the homeboys. And that's what actually broke CCO. Then I basically sent out word to all the prison, all the Hoovers.
So the hit on James Miller and Snake is what dismantled.
Yes, that's what
That was the final. That was the final straw. But
it was shit before that.
But no, it was shit before that. But what really happened to this is what really happened to the CCO before it was called the CCO. When I went home in March of '83 from San Quentin, I left 3 people in charge: Light Bulb from Compton, Double R from the West Side, and Motor Mouth from the '60s. They was all generals. And I told them dudes before I left, I say, look, man, we got to survive up in this prison system, man, as one entity. We the Crips. We not BGF. We not Mexican Mafia. We not ABs. We not NFs or none of that. And I told these dudes, this right before I went home, I said, do not let the BGF manipulate y'all into fighting a war against the Mexican Mafia. Because the Mexican Mafia and the BGF war go way back to the early 60s. They ain't got nothing to do with us. We trying to survive as the entity of this prison system as Crips. And what happened? They let them dudes manipulate them. My boy Slow Drag Kajua from Grace Street White get killed. And this shit was just discombobulated after that point, bro.
And let me put a conclusion on my story though. But anyway, because I was there when Slow Drag got killed too. That's when I first got to Quentin. Slow Drag from Grace Street. But anyway, after we retaliated behind Hoover and his cousin getting moved on by the CCOs, I had sent out word to all the prison system. Any who was a CCO, you got 90 days to step back. If not, we're gonna treat you like the enemy. Certain ones was hard-headed, didn't want to step back. They got dealt with.
So it was received what 50-50 or what? Majority of homies backed up.
Majority of them backed
Most
up.
of the homies backed up, except for a few, like he said.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And no disrespect to the Harlems, even though we moved on BJ too. That's one thing I love about the Harlems. I always had love for them anyway, before all this CCO and this bullshit and tribalism went on. But anyway, because we moved on BJ, That's one thing I respect about the Harlems doing, because you know I know a lot of G Harlems. I come up with them and they respect me for that. They could have took it the wrong way. I moved on they, you know, they general from Harlem, but they didn't. They understand that we were CCO. That didn't have nothing to do with Hoover or Harlem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This was CCO politics and shit.
Yeah.
So they you know they took it, you know, fair and not try to move on me because I moved on G homeboy. This didn't have nothing to do with Harlem's. This was CCO been and that's how basically that shit dismantled, man.
So I have another someone else said that basically when they backed out, that's when it collapsed, and they was from Compton. No, when he
I think
who you talking about, Rockhead? Man, look, man. Look, man. I know that dude personally, bro. I know him. I know Rockhead personally.
Say when he backed up and took Compton's with him, that's when the collapse was.
The CCO collapsed when Slow Drag from Grape Street got killed, bro. That's when everybody backed up. That's when I backed up because they dropped the ball. And that's when everybody in the prison system was like, "Oh man, the CCO man, they doing homies wrong and just sliding paperwork up on your door and stabbing dudes and doing the man." When Cuz got killed, that's when I backed up. I was the supreme commander of the Consolidated Crip organization. I went back to San Quentin at the end of '84 on a violation, and I wrote a resignation letter. I'll say I'm stepping back. I'm for Hoover. I'm cool. And then my whole time was up. They sent me to A section. I was there for about a week, and they called me early thing. Read B number 9309. Roll your stuff up. I was an add-on. They sent me to Tracy. When I got to Tracy, Mac from 11 Deuce was there. Lil Scully from the tray. Spooky from 5 Deuce. Spoon from the tray. Root Beer from 107. We was all up there together. When I got up there, I was like, "Hey man, this is what it is. Woo to woo to woo." You know what I'm saying? It's just Hoover. Ain't no more paperwork. CCO, none of that. But the CCO still dragged on to certain people, and Rockhead was one of them.
Okay.
He came into the CCO later in the game. I know Cuz personally. Matter of fact, I saved his neck. And if you watching, and you know what I'm talking about, I saved your neck in the Chino Guidance Center when we was in Sycamore, when they held court on you on the yard, bro. I saved your neck. Yeah. We ain't gonna get into that, but yeah, come on, bro.
Who played a major role
in that
breaking it,
dismantling the whole construction.
Yeah. Once we did step back, it opened the gate up.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
I knew homies that were mad about it.
Yeah.
You know,
real talk.
Hey, let me say something. You know, since Bub had this podcast out, I don't read the comments no more. I learned my lesson.
Yes.
Stay away from that shit.
I'll be reading them.
I can't do it no more because they
were getting you hot.
Yeah, they only fight. They was upset. But I would like to say, man, we got to always keep at the forefront of our mind, man. They be them damn police provocateurs promoting all that negative. Not all police, but they be police on there throwing all that garbage out there, throwing all that bullshit out there, man. So, but I stay up at that comment section, you know. But one thing I want to just say, since my loved one right here, man, started this podcast, and I read the comment when I was reading, people's misconstruing shit. We ain't gang banging.
Come on, man.
We know how to gang bang.
Come on, man.
We gang bang on the streets with guns and all that shit. We done been through that shit for maybe. This ain't no gang banging platform.
Nope.
We just telling our history. We sharing our life story. We sharing the shit that we went through.
Yep.
You know, and we gave our life to this.
Come on, man.
This is all educational, especially to our young Groove family, you know, so they can know their history. If there's something wrong with that, then cut your throat.
Hey, let me pick back off that real quick, Big Bub. Because he don't fuck with the comment. I look at all the comments and the things that people say. And let me get one thing clear, man. Because a lot of people be saying, you know, well, you guys still gang banging this. First of all, I'm not no gang banger. And like I told somebody the other day, the reason why I still claim Hoover is because these young cats from Hoover, that's my family. And if I say that I'm not from Hoover anymore, I can't get at them on no positive, constructive manner and try to give them some guidance and understanding. I'm gonna say, what we listen to this nigga for? He ain't from Hoover no more. And I got to keep that family connect, man, to get at my folks. in a positive, constructive manner. You know what I'm saying? Because they not finna listen to somebody that ain't from the set. So you know, like I tell people, I was taught to represent this all the time. I'm a Hoover Crip. I'm an East Side Crip. And I'm gonna claim that to the day I die.
Right.
But we don't bang or do anything that's not conducive, man, to benefiting our people, man, and moving forward in life.
The bottom line, we ain't sitting up here at this table banging on no damn microphones, man. We know how to get out in the street and bang. We know how to do all that shit. But one of the pivotal things about this is that you got to go through it to understand it. You have to live this life to understand why we here, why we go through what we go through, why we doing what we doing, why we talking about what we talking about. Because we gave our life to this, you know. So it's all educational.
What you want to add to that?
No, you're right. You know, we ain't out here gang banging. We really trying to put a positive message out. You know, cause I hear a lot of people in the comments say, "Oh, y'all still hold gang bang." No, we're not. No, we're not. Been there, done that. We're on some other shit.
We ain't doing no different than all other podcasts way before this.
Look,
all the gang members on Care, man, everything. We ain't doing nothing no different.
No, and then not only that, and not only,
I would like to think that we are, but
and not only we doing something different, but not only that, to piggyback on what Groove said. Look, man, if we was gang banging, trust and believe you niggas would know about it. Right. We not gang banging, man. We don't disrespect no sets, because you got to understand, like I'm 65, TS 65. We all in our 60s. We knew everybody from all sets, man. And all sets loved us, and we loved all sets. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? When Hoover Joe called his murder case, it was 4 different sets involved in the murder case. It wasn't just Hoover's. You had niggas from the underground and from Kitchen on this set. Because everybody was together back then. Everybody, Crips was Crips, regardless of where you was from. You know what I'm saying? Everybody loved and respected each other. Now, what happened later on in the game, you know, like I said, that's how the flow goes sometimes, you know. But as long as you keep shit in proper perspective and deal with shit as it come, you be all right. So don't never get us misconstrued about our narrative or anything, because we speaking on our history and what we know about our history. And like I tell people, can't nobody 30 or 40 years old get on no social media and speak on the Hoover history, because Hoover's been out over 50 years. You know what I'm saying? You have to be there to really speak on stuff. It's like people be speaking on Tookie. And they ain't never seen Tookie in their life. They wasn't even living when Tookie went to jail in 1979. The first time I ever seen Tookie in my life was in 1973 at the Watts Festival, the first night of the Watts Festival. We in the park. It was called Will Rogers Park then. And Tookie called all the Crips over there by the bungalows and held a meeting. Him and Black Johnny from the East Side 43rd. They were called East Side 43rd Street Crips then, not Fortray Gangsters. They was East Side 43rd Street. Tookie spoke and Black Johnny spoke. And that was the first time I ever seen Tookie in my life. So, you know, come on with all that stuff y'all talking about, man.
And just let me say this right quick, man. Just start from the first episode of the podcast. You get understanding what we talking about, you know, because I didn't mince words, you know. We're not banging, you know. This is done to let our people, more than anyone else, know what the history is, know what the origins are. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is about. This ain't about nothing else. You know, if it was banging, you know, we're not banging. You know.
And we have no ill will towards anybody or any sets. Let's get that understood before we try to understand.
So the more y'all watch this, man, I think the greater your understanding will become in terms of what our objective is. There's an objective, you know what I mean? You know, there are phases to this get out. Right now, y'all just listening to the story. You know, you got loved ones giving y'all the story. You know, after that, there's something after that. Exactly. I want to tell you about the pitfalls of this shit. Actually, you get some of that now. Yeah. You know? After that, we want to tell you, man, but hey, man, when you grow up and you figure out some shit that you done been through some shit, you realize, damn, you know, that wasn't cool. You know, how do I make myself better? You know what I'm saying? How do I help my community? You know, you reach that redemptive stage, so to speak. And then after that, man, you get to the point where you realize, man, this was all a trick from the start. You know, it's a game.
Straight up.
Put in front of us, and we playing it. We playing it, man, to a T. You know, so, you know, this ain't what a lot of y'all want to label it as, man. This some solid shit, man. There's some solid shit. You know, the more you watch it, the more you get to that conclusion. You know. So look, man, we're gonna cut this. Go ahead.
And concur with what Bub just said. Our platform, man, is on some positive, constructive shit. We can elaborate and expound on any topic or subject that comes up in conversation. However y'all want it sliced to you, we can slice it to you.
Let me hit you with this. TSB, you spoke of something, man, and most of us have, relating to a concerning sacrifice. No. That's some deep shit, man. A lot of these dudes can sacrifice some stuff. A lot that sacrifice to the past think that, that no sacrificing days are over. Just think about it, though. If we're going to get this message out, man, like it should be out, going to need some more sacrifice, man.
Right.
From the right people.
Right.
From the right people. You know who you are. Come on. Let's get this thing right, man. Let's set it up like we supposed to. Some Hoover shit we talking about.
Yep.
Because you ain't gonna get the death penalty for being on camera.
Sure not.
We ain't talking about no 187s and nothing on here.
None of that.
Gang banging and nothing. Man, come on, man. We need you. Need your help spread the truth.
And look, let me say one other thing too, man. That like what Tia just said. First of all, ain't nobody looking for me. I don't have no enemies. Ain't nobody out there saying, man, I'm finna get this dude PT, man. No. Because I've always been, the cats I've been around and the cats I grew up around and the dudes I ran the streets with, they all stand-up cats, man. And we didn't do nothing to anybody unless they had it coming to them. We just weren't fucking over motherfuckers, just be fucking over them. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't doing all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't worry about where I go in life, because ain't nobody looking for me. I ain't did nothing to nobody. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no niggas out from other sets talking about, to get this nigga PT. You know what I'm saying? Because all these OG Crip sets, we know all these dudes from all these OG Crip sets, bro. We ran with these dudes. We drunk wine with these dudes. We chased brawls with these dudes. We walked juvenile hall and wine in the pen with these cats, man. The OGs from Hoover, man, we not with the business like that, y'all. We not with the business like that, man. We ain't never been with the business like that. Now, if a motherfucker step on a nigga toes, that's a whole different motherfucking script.
And we ain't gonna have that discussion.
Exactly.
So, what you gotta say? You good? DS, you want to drop something, man, before we cut this thing short?
I'm good. Peace to everybody.
I got one more thing to say that haven't been said since the podcast came out. But we the ones that said Hoover did it.
No, man, I said that though, bro.
Yeah, that was our saying, y'all, back in the days.
Hoover did it.
Hoover did it. Whenever we did something, we didn't sneak off and just bust and bone out. We like Hoover did it, and then we jet.
And Hoover gonna do this, man. We're gonna do this like we do everything else.
That's
it's
right.
Gonna be stand up.
Oh, one more last thing. When we was trying to get together last week, I already had it at the forefront of my mind to say this. But anyway, an incident happened probably in the last month. Some things got misconstrued in regards to me being on Kev Mac video. When I done them 4 or 5 episodes for Kev Mac video about 5 years ago, word got back to Kev Mac that I had ill feelings and regrets about getting on his show. This apology is to Kev Mac. I told him, I tell the world that I don't regret getting on your show, Kev Mac. Like I say, man, don't even stress yourself out. It was a total misunderstanding on what being said. I love being on your show, bro. You help promote my book. I ain't got nothing against you. I ain't got nothing but love for you. One love, bro.
Okay, on that, man, that was me. I take responsibility for that. I misspoke. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't have done that. By all accounts, man, the homeboy appreciated the time you gave him, man, to pitch his book, man. Just, let himself get out there, man. We all appreciate you for doing that, man. So again, thank you. And hey, my bad.
Hoover love.
Hoover love.
All right, man. So that being said, y'all, this was a congregation of Hoovers, man. All love, man. You have been, you are, and you will be under the groove.